at all the winter wonderland. Look at all the snow and the ice and the chilliness. I'm only joking.
The UK is pretty rubbish when it comes to snow.
But this isn't the case
For video games. Ah yes, to cure my winter depression, we're gonna be looking at some snowy levels in video games.
Not only because it's Christmas, but snow levels could be the most memorable part of any video game. And just like in real life, the snow and the ice make a real change to the environment.
Whether making it beautiful
Or uninhabitable and terrifying. So, wrap up warm, light your fires, as we take a stroll through the blizzard of the greatest snow levels
in video games.
Now, Batman Arkham Origins is probably my least favourite Batman Arkham game. It's a little clunky in places and I feel like it's a carbon copy of Arkham City. But it takes place on Christmas Eve and the idea of playing as Batman on Christmas is pretty novel. And on this Christmas Eve, 8 assassins are after Batman for a huge bounty that has been placed on his head by Black Mask. And that's the plot. They probably should have renamed this game Batman Saves Christmas and it would be the best game ever made. But there are some pretty cool things about this game. The Deathstroke fight is pretty good, the redesigns are cool, and the set pieces and gameplay are still pretty good. It's pretty low on the list, but I kinda like the New York Christmas theme. But it does get pretty bleak the more you look at it. But you could argue that that's the look they were going for. Oh, and the Joker is not as good as Mark Hamill, but hey, he does a good job, especially with Christmas decorations. On to number 9 now, and we're on the Nintendo 64, on a mountain. A cool mountain.
cool as ice.
No.
But what can you do on this cool mountain? Well, like any other Mario 64 level, you can collect stars to one of the most cheeriest and Christmassy Mario music I've ever heard. There's this one star which you can go down a snowslide in this cabin, but I know a secret passageway, so that's a free one. But if you go back, a penguin would challenge you to a race, and don't use the secret passageway this time. He'll know and you won't get the star, the blue pillock. You can even unlock cannons, and I found this cliffside which required you to use the wall jump, free jump, sprint, and it feels really good to nail. I couldn't tell you how to repair the snowman though, I couldn't figure it out. But hey, it certainly does live up to the name Cool Mountain. Now, Kirby's Adventure Wii is a very solid Kirby game. It's got some great abilities and some very solid stages. For this list, I had a look at Winter Wafers, where the stages are very nicely themed, and lets you access some new abilities you didn't get to use in the previous levels. However, my favourite stage is the boss fight with Goliath. He isn't the hardest boss in the world, but his appearance and abilities often remind me of Goku from Dragon Ball Z. The way he charges his beam attacks and the way his hair turns yellow in the second phase. I wouldn't be surprised if the developers didn't take any inspiration from Dragon Ball Z. Once you beat him, Kirby does a victory dance. I had trouble picking a snow level from The Legend of Zelda, mainly because a lot of them exploit slippery surfaces for puzzles, but for Snow Peak it's completely different in terms of atmosphere. In order to get past the blizzard at the foot of the mountain, you have to smell this honking fish so you can use its scent to carve a path through the blizzard. Once you reach the top, the smell is coming from this huge yeti thing, known as Yeto, and he invites you to his home, the Snow Peak Ruins. Inside you meet his wife, and she mentions that she has a part of the Mirror of Twilight in their sleeping chamber, which at this part of the story, you need to beat the game. The wife would then give you directions to find the key, but these chests are filled with cheese and pumpkins. But don't worry, because you can fill them with Yeto soup, and you can have some, which restores your health and warms you up. This even sparked my interest in soup making in real life. But once you finally get the key to their sleeping chamber, the wife leads you in and begins to stare at the mirror. If you didn't die from the heart attack, we are then greeted with a boss fight, where you have to smash the spires and carriage the armor. And once you knock some sense into her, Yeto knocks us aside and picks her up in a loving embrace. Aww. Snow Peak is probably the most memorable part of Twilight Princess, and certainly earned its place on my list. One cannot describe how it feels to play Stardew Valley. It's one of those games which is so relaxing to play. You can run a farm, go mining, and talk to people, but it has so much charm and personality, I find myself struggling to put it down. I know video games are meant to take you out of reality and where you can do all these fantastical things, but this game allows you to experience the ultimate fantasy.
What kind of fantasy?
Having a stable financial income.
Whenever winter rolls around in Stardew, you don't make as much money, but it gives you plenty of time to do whatever you want. Your animals will keep you funded, and you can find some winter crops as well. I love the winter theming, and the music gives off a chilly but very comforting vibe. The snow-covered town, the wintry forest, it's just so magical. Also, you can celebrate Christmas as well. At the beginning of the season, you're given a letter requesting that you become a secret Santa for one of the residents of Pelican Town, which takes place on the 25th, and there's this whole big Christmas celebration, where everyone from town arrives, and it never fails in delivering the Christmas spirit, even if you're playing the game nowhere near Christmas.
When I think snow levels and how unpleasant and dangerous they can be, I think of Castle Canehurst, a horrible, decrepit, frosty castle filled with ghost maidens that try to stab you. And even on the rooftops there are these gargoyle things that try to eat your face off. On the top of the tower, frozen to a throne, is Martyr Ligarius. He is tall and aggressive, and he'll stop at nothing to tear you apart with his scythe and arcane attacks. But in order to beat him, you'll need to be patient and aggressive. Avoid his close range attacks and destroy those bloody swords. Also take every opportunity to perform visceral attacks, which I managed to do to finish him off. Once you do so, you get to meet the Queen, and you become a Vileblood yourself. What is a Vileblood? Well, that's a long story. I'm not going to tell you. Bye-bye.
Ah yes, the meddling marsupial, Crash Bandicoot. He's not really known for snow levels, even though the second floor looks like it's been frozen over. Over to the left is a level called Bear It, where you can mount a polar bear and whiz for this frozen plain filled with seals, totem poles and killer whales. This level is very fast paced and reactionary. For example, in this tight section you gotta boost just before the totem and jump just at the edge so you can make it. The only problem I have with this level is the cruelty towards the polar bear, but it makes up for that with plenty of funny death animations where the polar bear survives every time. Also, it's a real challenge to break every single box and get the gem at the end, at the same time considering you're skating around ice with a polar bear at 50 miles per hour. It's fun, it's frantic, it's frosty. Go see if you can bear it.
That was horrible.
I don't care.
Picture this, you're a Pokemon trainer and you've just beaten all the gym leaders from your region and become the Pokemon champion. Then you beat all the other gym leaders in Kanto. With no one left to challenge, there is one last obstacle. Mount Silver, a treacherous snowy mountain filled with high level Pokemon, and you will need a lot of hidden moves to reach the top of the mountain. And once you reach the coldest, highest point in the mountain, you meet the legendary Red, the original Pokemon champion. He has a Pikachu that knows Volt Tackle, a Lapras, a bulky Snorlax, and the classic starter trio, Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. All of them are immensely leveled, and this is arguably the most difficult fight in the game, even if your Pokemon are around the same level. If that wasn't bad enough, there is hail battering down, and unless your Pokemon are ice types, they'll take damage every turn. Once you finally beat him, he vanishes, which is very peculiar. Did he run down the mountain, or was he a ghost? Who knows? Warning, the following entry will include spoilers for Undertale, which is a game best delved in without further knowledge. How about you get over Christmas and come back later? But if you don't mind, I'll just continue. After you leave the ruins in Undertale, you appear to be in a snow-covered forest, which I always find odd, as you're underground. Don't the trees need sunlight and there needs to be clouds for snow? What's even weirder than that, there's this strange, ominous music. Let's just continue, it's getting pretty scary. Oh. That's even more unsettling. Let's keep going. Human. The old whoopee cushion in the hand trick. Indeed it is. You scared the life out of us though. This is Sans. Sans the skeleton, and he's supposed to be on the watch for humans, but he decided against it. But his brother, the Great Papyrus, is obsessed with catching humans, and he has some traps in store for us. But before we run into them, this gives us a chance to wander around the lovely land of Snowdin, filled with snow, ice puns, ice puzzles, and cute doggoos. Later on we run into Sans and Papyrus again. You keep throwing puzzles at us, but we play along because even though Papyrus tries to be dangerous, he's a real sweetheart. Past the bridge is a nice little town filled with more monsters, and in the center is a Christmas tree, which in the Undertale universe started celebrating whenever teenagers decorated this moose guy, and they put presents under the tree to help him feel better. But if you want to progress, you need to get past Papyrus. He has several bone attacks, and I have no idea why he's using so many blue attacks though. You're blue now!
Oh, you bone cologne wearing! Tricked her.
So yes, your heart is now blue, and instead of being able to float, you have now gravity and momentum. But you need to be swift and well timed to get past his attacks. After you do so, you can spare him, and he'll let you continue on your quest. You can even date him, if you're into him, I guess.
Snowdin is a lovely level full of wintry fun and quirky characters. But that's only because you're doing the pacifist route. Let's see what it looks like in the genocide route.
Yes. This section is a whole lot more unpleasant than the pacifist route. In the pacifist route, you can choose not to kill anyone, but with genocide, you kill everyone you come across. It changes the game so much. Whenever Sans appears near the bridge, your character doesn't even flinch. Your character straight up ignores Papyrus the whole time, and there's ominous music that plays constantly. Eventually, once you kill everyone, you start to get this message. But nobody came. Even the lovely town. The townsfolk caught wind of what you did and they all ran away. You can even rob the store all you want. And what's worst of all, Papyrus tries to help you. He doesn't fight back, he is sparing you this time. But then, you kill him in cold blood. Still, I believe in you. You can do a little better, even if you don't think so. And for my favourite snow level, I couldn't have given it to any other level than Shadow Moses from Metal Gear Solid. Shadow Moses is this military base in Alaska where a terrorist group took it over and prepared to launch a nuclear missile from the ultimate weapon, Metal Gear, and it's up to Solid Snake to stop them. Where did I start with this level? I always get chills when I play this game. The pixelated snow is so stylized and cool. Not to mention you can leave footprints in the snow, which isn't the wisest thing to do because the guards can spot them. Not only that, you have the snowfield where you have to take care of a tank with just grenades, the chilly cavern filled with vicious wolf dogs. It does a great job of making you feel the danger and chill of the stage. They're also very effective at emotional moments, especially when you have to finish off Sniper Wolf, or whenever you're finished with a mission, you get to ride off into the sunset on a snowmobile across a large glacier. What makes this level even better, in Metal Gear Solid 4, you get to come back to Shadow Moses. It's completely frozen over and abandoned, but it is nostalgic and magnificent to see an iconic location updated in HD. Not to mention, in Metal Gear Solid 4 specifically, if you're out in the snow for too long, it increases your stress, and it'll eat into your psyche. And if you don't eat anything warm or stay out of the snow, you're gonna lose a lot of psyche. But at the end of the level, do you remember that Metal Gear I mentioned earlier? A bipedal death tank that can launch nukes? Well, you can pilot it and fight against another Metal Gear. This is my favourite moment in Metal Gear Solid, and for that, it is also my favourite snow level in video games.
And that's that. I hope you enjoyed our list.
I'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and also a very Happy Holidays.
And making these videos has been the spice in my life, but in the new year, we may not be able to make these videos ever again because of Article 13 and all this copyright laws and all that. In the description, I'm putting a petition against that article. You'll find all the information you'll need in the description and also at the site I'm going to link you to. Have a very Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. I'm the Cap.
And I'm the Cap.
And we'll see you whenever.